I have tons of Spider-Man action figures, and you know what else has a lot of Spider-Man? Across the Spider-Verse. Which is why I'm going to make my own version of the Spider-Verse chase scene and a Miguel vs. Miles fight scene from the movie for fun. I decided not to include every single figure I had, just so it would make sense with the story, you know, no Gwen, no Noir, and also no figures that I ruined when I was younger. So I don't normally storyboard, but this time I decided to because I knew this would be a long-term project. I took advantage of Procreate's animation features to create a rough storyboard to how the video would go, and I wanted to keep track of what I needed to do because I had tons of ideas I wanted to include for this video for the different Spider-Man characters, but I'll talk about the ideas that I wanted to include that didn't make it into the final video later on. But I decided to start the video off with little inclusions of my old Spider-Man stop motions from nearly a decade ago. I thought it would be a cool idea to involve my older videos for this one because it felt appropriate, you know, for a multiverse video, kind of like a bunch of different universes and different timelines and stuff, kind of looking back on the past. You know, obviously this video was green screen and special effect heavy, unlike my other stop motions in my channel's history, so this video has a very distinct vibe from them, I feel like, but it did add a ton more work into the video. Just like the actual Spider-Verse movie, I decided to film some shots and characters on different frame rates to accentuate the movements I needed for the scenes. The scene where I showcased the spider sense with the Samurai Spider-Man was kind of a payoff from the tests I did with the Ghost of Tsushima video, with the same kind of 3D effects that I used, taking advantage of the different layers, and also with the fact that they're both samurai, you know, I thought it'd be fitting to put there. And for the running scenes, I had to film each of them on separate plates, once again with different frame rates, all with different looping animations, and I put them all together to make a group running shot, some blue screen, some green screen. Now, a complicated shot I did have to do was this ending scene where Miles kind of blasted everybody away. The thing was here, Ben Reilly's jacket matched perfectly with the blue background, but everybody else's wasn't, and obviously because of this, Ben Reilly's sweater would match with the background I'm trying to change, so I really had no way around this. But something weird I did here, I decided to take the background I was using and then draw in the missing pieces of the sweater for Ben Reilly so it would look full. It's kind of a weird method, but it did end up working, I think. I don't really think it's noticeable unless I told you, which I just did, so let me know in the comments if you guys did notice that in the final product. I also like putting small allusions to other Spider-Man properties, like here with the PS4 Spider-Man figure, I recreated a takedown you can do in the game, and I also decided to make it the ending move because, you know, finisher and a finisher to the fight scene kind of just makes sense. And like I mentioned earlier, I had tons of ideas that didn't make it into the final project. A few I could talk about right now is how I wanted to include the Lego Spider-Man originally. I had him being thrown by Miguel at Miles to try and stop him, and it would be kind of like this gag, but I decided to change the fact that Miguel's not in the chase and also just change the Lego Spider-Man's involvement. And another one, I initially had the entire chase scene ending with a 12-inch Spider-Man kind of being like a giant Spider-Man, but I thought that would just kind of be like too random, you know. But yeah, originally I was going to upload this video as one whole video, and I decided to do a poll over on my Instagram, which you can go follow in the description, and over there my followers voted for there to be 2 parts and then a full video later in the future, and because of that, part 1 came to a wrap. And before I began part 2, a major problem occurred with my lamp. It kind of just fell apart. But you know, my dad kind of just fixed it right away. This video would be a lot quicker to produce because half the video was practical and not a bunch of green screen stuff, and the initial idea was to keep them in that black space, but I decided that might get too old on the eyes even if it's just there for about a minute, so I decided to move the background and kind of put them back in the original space of the part 1 video, and I thought it would be a cool shot to include Miles getting thrown out the window. So for this shot, I had to split the background in 2. I had to move the black paper to the left while using this light I got from Ollie's as a divider, and then using the green background on the right side. This was all done in camera, but I just had to obviously replace the green side with blue, and then it looked pretty good in my opinion. And then from there on out, the video was kind of just back to green screening. For these parts where they're falling through the sky, I was inspired to use this PC background as a building type thing. I saw this used in another person's Miguel vs. Miles stop motion where they had the same thing, and coincidentally my dad has the same glowing PC, so I used the same method and I like how it came out. And then really the only complicated shot I had in this entire sequence where he webs onto the side of the PC and he sticks on, I decided to film this at a different angle than it was shown just so it'd be easier for me to do the movements. So I kind of had to turn my head every time I wanted to see the final product, but it did end up working out. I did this test shot with a Jimmy Woo figure and, you know, he helped out a bunch, so thank you Randall Park. And then from there on out, I decided to recreate the famous scene from Across the Spider-Verse where Miguel kind of just body slams Miles. It might not be as intense on my video, but I definitely had fun recreating that one. I was really waiting to do that. But yeah, from there on out, it was kind of just simple shots of them on the ground, kind of just like from the movie. But I had tons of fun filming this video. Part 1 did take me a really long time, but really had to time manage that stuff because I did get pretty tired. So that video did take me much longer than part 2 did. But like I said, part 2 did have the advantage of 1, me knowing what to do, 2, half the video being practical, 3, much less characters, and 4, the motivation that I got from part 1's performance. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed those 2 videos. I will be releasing a full version later on in the year just so I could have something while I'm on college campus. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this behind the scenes. Let me know if you guys have any questions for what I did, and I will see you guys in the next video.